Hello, I'm BL Ochman, and welcome to episode 60 of the Beyond Social Media Show. I am on my own today because my co-host, Dave Erickson, is working on a project that's going to bring our show onto iTunes. So here's where you can find us online, the BeyondSocialMediaShow.com, where later today the video will be time-stamped and the playlist will be run with all of the links to everything I talk about today. And you can find me online on Twitter. I'm at What's Next. My blog is what'snextblog.com. I occasionally write for Ad Age Digital Next. And I am CEO of Maximum-Plus.com, which is your place for all things Google Plus, and where I produce live events on Google Plus for brands and educators and agencies. Dave Erickson is at D.Erickson on Twitter, eStrategyBlog.com, and eStrategyTV. So what we do every week here is, hello Coach Moore, what we do every week is we cover the best and the worst in digital communications in the past week, plus apps you want to have and stats you need to know. And I'm doing something different today, and it's an experiment because I'm not quite sure that one person can pull this off, but I am using Comment Tracker, which means that I will see your comments if you leave them on the event page or on YouTube. I'll pick them up and be able to answer them during the show. So please feel free to comment as we go along. I'll do my best to keep it together. So beginning with the worst of the week, I have to give Rush Limbaugh the prize for the most tasteless quote about Robin Williams' suicide. It's his opinion that Robin Williams died because he was a liberal, or maybe he thought like a liberal, or maybe he was just, one of those people who's never happy because he's a leftist. And Limbaugh said he's always angry. They're always angry about something, no matter what they get. They're always angry. And then in a segment where he called out everybody for calling him out about that ridiculously stupid comment, he said, "Despicable leftists lie about my comments on the media coverage of the Robin Williams suicide." He said the sheer volume of news outlets twisting his words forced him to respond, and here was his response. "All of these low-rent, despicable, irresponsible, pathetic, so-called media watchdogs on the left are trying to make it sound like I said Robin Williams gave up because he was a liberal, then he was hopelessly doomed to misery and despair because that's what liberals are devoted to. And I said no such thing." And that prompted Market Watch, who had reported on this, to publish the original transcript in which, ta-da, Limbaugh said exactly what he said he didn't say. And not being the only one to capitalize on Robin Williams' suicide, Edelman PR published a blog post telling their clients the best way to seize the day, and if you had any kind of relationship to mental health or business interests that were in some way related to that, maybe you were a drug company, you should seize the day and capitalize on this bad thing. And it's only a bad thing if you don't have a communication strategy, apparently. Well, apparently a lot of people got really pissed because that's disgusting. And so Edelman apologized. They said they didn't mean to offend anybody, but they did. Okay, so the other thing that happened this week that I think is just hilarious, and it's not exactly social media, but you need to know about it, is that my deceased Labrador Retriever is apparently being hunted by the IRS. I have gotten now 3 phone calls, and they're telling me that my dog, who happens to be the name that my phone is listed in, that they are from the Criminal Investigation Unit of the IRS, and you are a prime suspect in a criminal offense of tax fraud. Do not ignore this phone call. If you ignore this phone call, you and your spouse will be arrested. However, my dog was single, despite many efforts to find him a mate. And so if you don't pick up the phone, which I didn't, they call back and they say, "You must not ignore this call." And the caller ID says Washington, D.C. I don't know exactly how they did that. Well, it's a known scam, and it's built people out of more than $5 million. I called the police. I spoke to a detective, and he said, yes, it's a growing problem. So pay no attention to these idiots. But you know, you may hear from them. And my dog also gets invitations to get credit cards, and he gets political mail. And just so you know, if you were planning to send him any, he's a Democrat. So speaking of dogs, a dog was elected mayor in Minnesota by a landslide. A 7-year-old dog whose name is Duke, who is a Great Pyrenees, was elected in Cormorant, which is a small town in Minnesota, a very small town. It has 12 residents, and they each paid $1 to cast their vote. I don't know what that's all about. But he's not the first non-human elected to public office. Stubbs the cat preceded him, and Stubbs has been the honorary mayor of Talkeetna, Alaska for the past 17 years. Duke beat out a human contender for the mayorship, and the area news outlet WDAY-TV quoted a local resident saying, poor Richard Sherbrooke, who owns the Cormorant store, didn't even have half as many votes as Duke did. So Duke holds the position for a year after he's officially sworn in today. His salary, he gets a year's worth of kibble and some grooming. So I know it's Catterday, but I had to tell you that story. I just want to take a quick look at the comments. Okay, so a thing that also goes in the best category this week is a campaign called Come to Life, which was created by a New York-based agency called Plum. And in it, a promoter forced concert goers to watch a 2-minute video of a guy flipping out on ecstasy. The video is called The Molly, and if you want to go to the concert, you have to view it to validate your wristband to gain entrance into the Electric Zoo Festival that's held August 29th to 31st at Randall's Island in New York. And the PSA is from Made Event, and they're the promoters of electronic dance music concerts, including Electric Zoo. And the campaign encourages people to organically enjoy, rather than chemically enhance, the light show and the music and the energy of the crowds. What a good idea. So another really good idea that I think is big fun is called My Monopoly. And what you get is you get blank tiles and stickers so you can make the game your own with your photos from Facebook, Instagram, Flickr, Shutterfly, or and you can personalize the tokens and the community cards and the chances and the properties, and you can you can have great fun with it. But it's just amazing to me, thinking about growing up playing Monopoly as a kid, to just think of the game becoming interactive, of everything becoming interactive. It is Catterday, so I have to tell you about the MeowMix Jingle Contest. And in the promotion for it, which is at MeowMix.com, you can watch cats dancing to a remix of the classic MeowMix jingle, and then you can go and you can create your own MeowMix remix and have your cat dance in it. And it's the first in a series of MeowMix songs, and if you subscribe on itsmeowtime.com, you get to see the tracks as they're added. And this is really cool marketing by MeowMix. They had Cat Starter, where you could propose cat products that should be made and vote on the ones that should be produced. And they're currently going into production by popular demand with a heated keyboard-shaped bed that your cat can sleep on instead of walking on your keyboard. Now, if you watched Beyond's social media show, or if you've seen me on various Hangouts, my cat Noni is often sitting on my lap, and every once in a while, for whatever cat reason, he gets pissed and he bites me. So he's been banished. You won't be seeing him anymore. And I've had to excuse myself a couple of times to go get a Band-Aid after he bit me. So something that he could sleep on that looked like a keyboard, that would be great. And so that brings us to shiny new objects. And there is an app called the SeeMe app that will turn your photos into t-shirts and postcards. And if you're the kind of person who documents your life with selfies, this is a free app for you. It allows you to transform your photos into one-of-a-kind t-shirts. And it's an artistic image sharing site, and there are over 1 million members in the global community, and you can buy a t-shirt or a postcard created by other members. A t-shirt costs $32 and a postcard costs $3, and if somebody wants to buy your design, then you get $6 for the sale of every shirt that they buy and $1 for every postcard. So that app is called SeeMe, and it's free for iOS. Dave's not here, so I get to talk about pets a lot today. And there is an app called Celestis Pet, and it lets you rocket your pet's remains into outer space. Now, if you've ever lost a pet, you know that it's a horrible experience. And so here, Celestis Pet has the world's first pet memorial space flight, and they will launch an engraved flight capsule containing approximately 1 gram of your deceased pet's remains or a lock of its hair into outer space. And it starts this fall, and they have 4 different services for these extraterrestrial trips for your pet. There's the big one, which is called the Voyager service, and it starts at $12,500. It allows your pet to explore places they could only have dreamed of in life on a voyage through deepest space. And it's a permanent celestial journey. Then there's one that's a sort of just a trip into space and back, and that's called the Earthrise service. That starts at $995, and it's an affordable, symbolic portion of cremated remains, and they experience zero gravity. They come back in a capsule that you can use as a keepsake. And they performed their first memorial launch in 1997. I love this. Bearing the remains of Dr. Timothy Leary, the psychologist, writer, and proponent of LSD, who told us all to turn on, tune in, and drop out. And with him was Star Trek creator Gene Roddenberry. And I just love the thought that they're out there somewhere. For the lawyers in the bunch, there's an app called Phoenix Wright, Ace Attorney. And in it, the destiny of clients is in your hands. It's an iOS app. You explore 3D crime scenes for evidence, and then you decide which of the outcomes there should be. So this brings me to Google Hangouts for Lawyers, a webinar I'm presenting with jurispage.com, which is a marketing company for attorneys, and we are presenting a free webinar on how attorneys can use Google Hangouts, and it is launching our new Hangout-based video interviews for attorneys. So it's all about why lawyers need to pay attention to and learn how to use Hangouts, and it applies to your business too. So feel free to join us. The link will be posted on the playlist, and I will be sending out mailings, and I will be posting about it, and you can join us. The date is August 27th. The time is 1 p.m. So I'm going to keep the show short today, and thank you so much for joining me, and just let you know that you will find the timestamped video later today on YouTube and on BeyondSocialMediaShow.com, which is our blog. You can find me online on Twitter. I'm at What's Next. My blog is whatsnextblog.com. My company is maximum-plus.com for all things Google Plus and Google Plus live events. And my co-host, David Erickson, who will be back next week, can be found on Twitter as D. Erickson, at eStrategyBlog.com, and of course on eStrategy TV and on Beyond Social Media Show next week. Thank you for joining us.